Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Architects, mark your calendars for the Entre Architect Community Annual Meeting. It's the business conference for small firm architects. From October 23rd to the 25th, join us in Nashville, Tennessee, for an event dedicated to small firm entrepreneur architects like you. Experience inspiring keynotes, interactive workshops, and unparalleled networking opportunities. This is your chance to learn, share, and grow with peers who understand your journey. It's a unique conference, unlike any of the others. If you're a small firm architect business owner, this event is for you. Secure your spot today at smallfirmconference.com. Don't miss out. Join us in Nashville and prepare your firm to thrive in 2025. My name is Mark R. LePage, and you are listening to Entre Architect Podcast, where Each week, I speak with inspiring, passionate people who share their knowledge and expertise, all to help you build a better business as a small firm entrepreneur architect. Today's guest is Eitan Tsarfati, CEO and co-founder of SWAPP, a cutting-edge platform that leverages AI to automate and optimize architectural documentation, enhancing efficiency and reducing project timelines. Eitan is a seasoned entrepreneur with deep roots in the construction sector. He started his career as an architect before co-founding CmyCasa, a construction tech company sold to Autodesk. And at Autodesk, Eitan served as general manager of Autodesk Israel, overseeing an R&D center with 200 employees focused on developing innovative construction tech products. Eitan's been here before. Episode 450, we talked about how artificial intelligence is disrupting the architectural design process. That was back in April of 2022, episode 450. That was before the AI hype train arrived to our industry here. We've been hearing a lot about AI in the last year or so, a couple of years. And so the last conversation was before all that. And so I'm really excited and interested in having this conversation. Eitan, welcome back to Entre Architect Podcast.
Great to be here, Mark.
I'm excited about this. When we spoke last, you were really introducing AI to our audience. We hadn't really talked much about AI before our conversation with you in April 2022. Everybody knew what it was. Everybody understood sort of generally what it was. But since then, right, the whole world has shifted and has focused on AI and how AI is impacting. We're using it on a daily basis. It's becoming part of all the tools that we're using. ChatGPT and OpenAI certainly has sort of blown the roof off of AI and have brought it to us. Most of us are using OpenAI or some sort of AI tool, but there's a lot of hype around it too. There's a lot of new products that are coming out that's just sort of a layer of AI fantasy on top of other tools. I want to have that conversation with you. Before we do that, though, Eitan, just to remind everybody who you are and what do you do. They can go back to episode 450 for your full origin story, but just give us a little context that will lead us into a conversation about SWAPP and what AI is today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mark, for having me. And yes, just on top of, the previous chapter and what you just said, I started my career as an architect. And soon enough, I was attracted to the technology business, to the technology world, how to be more productive. And every architect in your audience would probably say, yes, productivity, productivity, productivity. We need more of that. And we need more, gross margins for our companies, whether it's sole practitioner, like 10 people, 20 people, it doesn't matter. Every architecture firms that you talk to, they feel they're just wasting a lot of time. So I felt it too. And I thought that, and I'm still thinking that technology is the answer. And this is the path of my career. I just moved to technology, did things related to architecture and to construction, spent some time at Autodesk, learned a lot there. I mean, being in San Francisco at the headquarters and then back to Tel Aviv and, managing this 200 R&D center opened my eyes about what's out there. What are the complexities really from a corporate stand of view? Because your audience are looking at Autodesk, sometimes as, the evil, right? Why is this not working? And sometimes, hey, this is a great software to use. But what I was exposed is all the bits and bytes and, how do you update a feature? What's going on with the entire software and the entire development process? And it gave me a lot, talk to all these huge companies that working with Autodesk product. And then, that was my first startup when I sold it to Autodesk. Then I moved out of Autodesk to do another startup. Some will say it's a masochistic move, but it's just a bug. I can't help it. I'll probably do startups until I retire. What I really like to do is to solve hard problems and to make people more productive and have the technology work for them, really. That's what's on my mind. Not work for the technology, as many architects feel today, but that the technology will work for you. This is what we're trying to do.
You said you really enjoy startups and you've moved from Autodesk with a salary and, probably an office and all the perks that come along with that to start a startup, right, from scratch, idea. What is it about startups, about business, about entrepreneurism that attracts you?
First, the pace. You can move really, really quickly. If you're the CEO, of course, but the pace is really, really quick. You want to do something, you don't have to go through the letter of command in an organization. You don't need to work with 5 different departments in 10 different geographies in order to make it happen. So that's what's frustrating in a corporation. And this is, by the way, one of the reasons that you don't see a lot of updates in products like Revit, which is super, super complex, is because it is super complex. There are like tons of lines of code. And if someone want to change something, even if it's a small thing, it can break another thing. So it's really complicated. In a startup, you don't have that. You are working really quickly. You're talking to the customers. Even though I had a nicer office in corporate and I had my own secretary, I had a lot of perks there. But now I'm enjoying myself much more because, you don't have to dress. The dress code is different. You move things, you break things, actually. And that's okay to break things in order to get to an innovative aha moment, which is great for me. It's part of my nature.
What about the control of it, to be able to sort of guide your own destiny?
Absolutely. But I think, you can do that if you're part of a good organization. I mean, there's nothing wrong with working with these kind of people. It's just a matter of everyone needs to choose what's best for him. You need to really know yourself to ask yourself the hard questions. What type of person am I? Am I okay of working for 6 months without a salary? Is that okay? Will my close circle support me? Like my wife, my daughter? You have to ask these questions before just jumping into another. And if you love the comfort zone, you can still develop yourself. You can still control your destiny, but in more of a framework that's good for you.
So when you started SWAPP, what was the original idea?
The original idea was always about efficiency, how to generate floor plans and, documentation. But we started with the test fits and feasibility studies because that was just easier to do. The results are quicker. You can get the customer's reaction really quickly. And this is what we do. And then, after I think 1 year, we just look at the results. We said, this is not what we want to do. It doesn't move the needle to an architecture firm. Where are the billable hours? Where are the most time, the painful thing that you do? And we found out that construction documents, like across the board, like every country, every geography that we work with, and today we work in the US, we work in Europe, and we see that it's almost like the same tune over and over again. People telling us, look, we just hate to do this tagging, dimensioning, the tedious work. I just had a conversation with one of our customers, and he told me, I tell my people, whenever you feel like a robot, just let's swap what they can do. And there's a gap between what you learn in school. You didn't study architecture to make robotic and mundane work. You did it in order to use your brain, use the cultural part of your brain, use the creative part, the aesthetic part. Like this is a combination. Really, architects, it's a species that they're not just designers who want to do something beautiful. They want to do it in relation to the surrounding, the culture. It's really something special. And then reduce it to generation of drawings, sets. It doesn't make any sense to me. Then this is where SWAPP evolved of helping architects be more productive in these specific tasks. If someone come to me and say, hey, help me with generating a rendering faster, like you see in Midjourney, or there are all kind of companies who's trying to do all kind of things there. I'm saying, why? Why? This is the fun part. Play with the concept. What if it's wood? What if the cladding is different? What if the sun is coming from a different direction? This is the fun part. This is why you went to school. But then when you have all the decisions made, then you need to generate the construction document set. Don't waste your time on, giving much more importance to the thickness of the wall lines, right? Who cares, right? And I think, by the way, a lot of architects are wrong, if I can be blunt. They are looking at the floor plan as a work of art. The floor plan is not the work of art. It's just the means to an end. It's a means for the general contractor to understand what's going on, what to build. The actual building is the work of art. This is what you want to show your relatives and your people. And your floor plan itself, I don't think that the document set shouldn't be a work of art. It should be, you have to do it. And if we can help architecture firms make this part more productive, give them more time to do the thing that they really studied for, that's a win for me.
Right. And from an architect's point of view, to be able to focus more time on the front end, right, the design end, the fun end, as you put it, and to be able to focus more attention on the back end while it's being built and having more involvement in the actual creation of the art by making the middle part, the construction documents and all of that process more efficient, get that done very quickly, make it very accurate, make it just the tool that it needs to be in order to build, rather than putting a lot of effort into making the design and the beauty of it from a documentation point of view, and allowing technology to help you do that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and what you say, just going back to the hype, right? Because now people saw ChatGPT and they said, okay, great. Why don't I write in ChatGPT? Hey, ChatGPT, I just want to document the entire project. Please pick up the Revit file and generate everything for me. And it will magically create it for me because it's AI, right? AI is smarter than humans. Why not doing that? The truth is that if you ask how many people, the people that you know, that use on a daily basis ChatGPT or other tools out there for more than 3 hours straight to be productive in a day, you will not find a lot of people, because people, they just said, hey, ChatGPT, what kind of stock should I look at? Or can you create a song for me about something? And then, the results are really cool and say, oh, this is magic. But this is the hype. And now let's try to make accurate results. And you see, oh, ChatGPT is generating different results every time. So how can it be accurate? Because accuracy is, you got it right the first time. So then the hype is kind of broken. Another time that I saw that the hype was, I would say broken, but people got disappointed is because they look for the magic button. Hey, why don't you attach the magic button to Revit and we will click it and then we just do it? But then you see that they say, oh, but I have my own standards in my firm. My guidelines are different. I wanted to do this way or not that way. And then you see, okay, there's a problem there. And then there's another problem that you tell ChatGPT to talk to Revit. Why is it so obvious that an AI software or software environment will talk to something that was developed 20 years ago, with all kind of versions, different technologies? How can they talk to each other and you just expect it to work, right? We as humans, we find it hard to work with Revit and to do what we want it to do. So I think this is where most people feel that there's still a long way to go. But my take is that we are getting there. Probably my investors will hate me that I'll say that, but it takes time. It takes time, it takes patience to cover task after task after task, work with Autodesk, work with Nemetschek, work with Trimble, work with all the companies that created this 3D environment for us to work with, help them develop their APIs in order to talk with AI. And the startups that develop new things and using new technologies has to be patient to work with these big companies that have legacy code, because it takes time also for them to update their code to new technology. So I think that eventually we will get there to these magic buttons, but it's just a matter of short term versus long term. And people should try their best, architects in specific, to become familiar with the technologies, but not get disappointed too much. Just, take your time. We as architects, we know how to do that. I mean, the school takes forever, right? So we got used to, you plan a building and it takes like 10 years until you see the building standing. So we got used to it. So the same with AI. Try not to make it too hype, but understand that there's a real potential here. It's not a bubble or anything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely here to stay, and it's going to change everything. not only in architecture, but our whole world is going to be different because of AI. What would you say, what does AI do really well right now? Let's focus on architecture. What does AI do really well? What should architects really be focusing on AI to help them in their everyday?
Okay, so AI is a big word. It's artificial intelligence, but you see LLM engines, right? OpenAI and ChatGPT is an LLM engine. So it's all about the language. You click something and you get a response. So this is something that AI do really well, is understand the context. If you train your data to complete what the AI has from the internet, this can really create new things. And this is something that we're going to release really soon, is something that is based on your company's database, plus the database that the AI already knows from the internet. Because if you tell AI what is construction documents, it knows what is construction documents. If you tell an AI what is the good construction documents for a multifamily building in North Carolina, facing south, working with this specific GC, you'll need more database in order to get the right answer. So I think AI today has like the general information about architecture and information. If you want to ask AI, what are the phases for creating a set of documents? It will give you the phases because it just scanned the entire internet in order to come up with a good answer. But then when it's get more tailor-made and complex, I think that this is where the innovation is. And this is where the companies of tomorrow, not just in architecture, in everything, they will focus on creating their own data sets and making sure that you complete the general information with this bespoke information. And then you will see some really cool things.
Let's take a quick break to say thank you to our sponsors for their support of this episode. As an architect or firm owner, you might find yourself swamped with drawings that take up most of your day, leaving you with little time to manage your business. MGS Global Group can lighten your load by handling all of your drafting and rendering needs. Their experienced team of architects and designers can convert your schematic designs into DDs and CDs with minimal supervision. With expertise in industry-leading tools like Revit, ArchiCAD, and more, MGS is the perfect partner for managing your project spikes and urgent tasks. They work as an extension of your team and follow your standards to ensure the quality and accuracy of your drawings. Having served sole practitioners, small firms, and publicly traded companies since 2008, MGS guarantees you get the help you need right when you need it. Visit mgsglobalgroup.com and book your free consultation today. That's mgsglobalgroup.com. ARCAT's Spec Wizard is the tool that will help you save time writing specifications. Going through the manufacturer's specification line by line to find the right product leads to frustration and errors, and that's where Spec Wizard comes in. It's a free, patented tool that allows you to select products and options error-free and generate a 3-part specification in minutes. Go to arcat.com, that's ARCAT.com, and try Spec Wizard today. Please visit our sponsors today and thank them. Thank them for supporting you, the Entre Architect community. So taking the technology that's out there, right? So a LLM is a large language model for anybody who's listening who doesn't understand what that is. And that's things like OpenAI's ChatGPT, right? That's lots of code and lots of information that's all accumulated. And then you can ask it a question and it goes out and it checks its giant model of information and brings back the answer to your question, right? So a lot of people are starting to use that almost as a replacement to a Google search. They start using tools like ChatGPT for instant answers. Sometimes they're accurate, sometimes they're not. But then taking information, what you're saying, Eitan, is what architects will be doing very soon in the short term, taking the information that they've accumulated and developed in their own firms, applying it to the larger model of AI that's available, and being able to leverage all of that to be more efficient and be more effective.
Exactly, the combination. And it takes time because you want to tag your information in a way that AI will understand. But in general, if you have generic things that you want to do, AI is great for that. I'll tell you a short story. My daughter is colorblind, and she told me, "Hey, Dad, what if I can have a helmet that can whisper the colors when I see them?" And I just sat down and I just started talking with ChatGPT. I said, "Hey, Chatty, this is what my daughter asked me. What do you?" And I'm not like a professional software developer. I'm not an algorithm researcher. I have a very basic knowledge. I can code, but really not in a way that I can create my own app. And then ChatGPT started talking to me, said, "Look, why don't you download an SDK from Flutter, which is a company that is no code for apps?" I said, "Okay, just did it. Now, why don't you download Android Studio?" "Okay, I just did it." I said, "Okay, open it up, open a Flutter, run, the terminal," because you need some technological basic knowledge. And it just walked me through a few phases. And after 4 hours, I just held my phone and had a working app for recognizing colors. Well, the results were not super, super accurate. The yellow looked like purple to the app. But then, you can tweak and you can make it better. But in what world you could have imagined, Mark, that someone who's not writing code on a day to day will just do in 4 hours an Android app of recognizing colors for his daughter? So I think this is pretty amazing because it's the amount of information, generic information over the internet that you can take for your own needs. But if I had to ask the app, why don't you do it in a specific way that for that I need to give it more data that it doesn't have, then the result will be sometimes you see it in ChatGPT, it'll tell you, "I don't have enough information in order to give you an answer." This is where the next generation of AI is, that people will have their own data sets, companies will have their own data sets, and then they will create their bespoke applications with AI.
Let's talk specifically about SWAPP. So for anybody who doesn't understand what SWAPP is and what it does, can you talk a little bit more about SWAPP and how it can help architects?
Absolutely. So what SWAPP is doing is basically taking every architecture firm that we work with from the schematic design phase to the construction documents phase in minimum time. In minimum time doesn't mean that you have to tell your customers, "Hey, I just finished behind schedule." It means that instead of your company spending 1,000 hours documenting, you'll do 200 and you'll have the other 800 done by AI. So this is basically what we're doing. And we do it in a way that's it's a little bit different than most companies. Most software companies give you the button and then you say, "Okay, let's see if it works." If you're disappointed, okay, you're disappointed. What we're doing, we are creating kind of a half service, half tool. Whenever we have something that is matured enough to give it to our customers' hands, we do it. Okay, let's say that you have the task of tag the entire building. Okay, we have a tool. It's great. It's a self-serve tool. Go ahead and tag. If you want to do rotation and you have to fix everything that's screwed up in Revit when you rotate it, okay, this is something that we can do in an algorithm, but then when you translate it to Revit, it still needs to move through a QA process. So instead of doing it for 2 weeks, you'll do it in 1 day with us. So we kind of combine the things that we give as a service and the things we give as a tool. But the goal is always the same. The results that we provide our customers has to be consistent. They need to be happy with the results. You don't want your customer, because we know how architects are sensitive to the end result. You don't want a software to do something and then you scratch your head and say, "Oh, this is not what I meant." So this is what we do. So think about the hundreds of tasks throughout the documentation part. This is what we do: tagging, documentation, sheets generation, views arrangements of tagging and dimensionings, all the tedious stuff that people hates to do. You move the wall, right? You are the designer. I'm not going to move the wall for you. You are the designer. You move the wall. But then you say, "Okay, I just moved the wall, but I want SWAPP to stretch the ceiling, to go over all the documents that I have this change, the scope box," right? the dimension of the ceiling, the elevation part, the section part, and just to fix according to the modeling change I just did. This is SWAPP. You don't have to do that as an architect. You just did the change. You moved the wall. This is it. You're the creative part. You took the planning decision. SWAPP is taking the documentation task.
So all those little repetitive processes that architects need to do because there's no other way to do it, you make a change and they have to make all these other updates in order to make sure that it's accurate. You have to go back and check and update this and update that. SWAPP does that automatically.
That's for friction of the cost, because you know how many man hours you're going to spend on it. I know that I'm not going to spend man hours. I want maybe some QA hours, but most of my time is for software development. So then it allows me to reduce your cost significantly. So it's a win-win. And some people get mistaken of thinking, oh, but I'm going to fire my people because then it's going to replace everyone. On the contrary, get a new project, tell your people, stop tagging, go planning, right? That's the goal. This is why we learned architecture. By the way, this is why SWAPP is not doing any AI planning. We're not taking their place of planning.
Right. So you're not doing design work with SWAPP. It's all the administrative updates and repetitive stuff. SWAPP.ai is the website if anybody wants to go check out what SWAPP is and how it works. Eitan, whenever I talk to someone who has knowledge about AI and technology, I always love to futurecast a little bit. And we don't have to go out too far, because just imagine the changes that, or just look at the changes that have happened in the past couple of years, even just since we've talked, 2 years, couple months since we spoke, what has changed since then. So let's say 5 years from now, which is double the time since the last time we spoke, what does the world of architecture look like? What does the profession look like 5 years from now, which is, not too far away, but there will be some significant changes in the next half decade.
There's no doubt it's going to change. And the people that gets ready today are going to be thankful for that, because you cannot do the same thing that you do today 5 years from now. I do believe that most people that spend their time and resources being an expert on the technical part, like tagging and annotating, this is not where it takes your career to the next level. This is not what you take your practice to the next level. But the people that nurture relationship, with local authorities, with their customers, with their partners, with their peers, AI cannot replace that. Even if you'll make it like this super intelligent and nice robot in 5 years, it's not the same. We know it's something else. We can sense it as humans. It's something else. It's almost like we're going back to the people that, that the people who didn't know how to draw a line at AutoCAD always felt like, oh, we're just too old. The people that know how to draw the line, they get all our jobs. Now it's almost like it's the opposite way. People who know how to prompt really nice with AI and get results are the winners. And you don't have to be a technical person here. You just need to, like I did my software to my daughter.
Communication.
Yeah, you need to ask the right questions. You need to know how to convey an idea. You need to know how to talk to people also, because AI will not talk for you. You need to know how to smile to people and to act in a society, because AI doesn't know how to do that. It's just a mechanical, even when ChatGPT is nice to you, it's a mechanical thing that someone put in ChatGPT. If God forbid they'll put something else, it will be rude, right? The profession of architecture will be different, because you will not need so many people doing the technical work, but you'll need more people doing the creative work, more people explaining the idea, their association, their thoughts. Why did they did this shape or that shape? Why did this courtyard? Things in real planning that's for people. I think this is where you see the profession thrives in a few years.
Yeah. The theme for this year's Entre Architect Conference is the future of architecture is human. And exactly what you were just talking about, right? The technology is going to continue to advance and do more things for us, make us more efficient, make us more powerful in terms of technology. But the profession, the future of the profession, if we embrace it and we embrace this technology, right? Because that's a big piece of it. You need to embrace the technology and have it work for you. The future will be humans, right? It will be person to person, human to human contacts. Those are the things that AI and technology can't replace, or those relationships.
And just see what the CEO of NVIDIA just said a few months ago to developers, software developers. You should not invest your time learning how to code, in Python or C++. It doesn't matter because you need to work on how to make the right prompt for the AI because the AI will write the code. So of course, my software developers will probably hate me after saying that. They say, "Oh, we're skeptical about it." Of course, you're skeptical about it because someone, get you out of your comfort zone. And he knows a lot about the future, even more you and me, right? And he's telling them, don't invest so much time of writing the actual code and how to write technically a good code. Think about what you want to do. Think about what you want to develop. Think about the creative idea, what you're going to solve with your software. And all of a sudden, you'll see a new type of developers out there which don't know how to code, but they're very creative in mind. So you might see some architects
I was just going to say that. Sounds like an architect.
converting to software development because they're very creative and they have a good thought process about how user can be like a resident in a building. Like they're used to working on processes for humans, and now let them do that for software developments for apps. They can do it because they don't need to write the code. They just need to work out with a new customer and a new partner called AI and get their ideas to reality. So I think that for the creative people, that the people that really like to go deeper into their ideas and know how to think about, they have a good thought process, they will thrive.
Very exciting. Very exciting ideas about architecture, about architects, about the profession. I love having these conversations. Before we wrap up here, Eitan, I'd like to ask you the question that I asked you last time you were on the show. What is one thing that a small firm architect can do today to build a better business for tomorrow?
Let's start with something not related to AI or technology. I think it's a good advice for any small firm. Don't rely on just one customer. You sometimes get blinded by the money that you get from a certain customer, and this is your VIP customer. You don't want to do that because you need to spread your chances a little bit more. So this is one. Second, don't grow your company too fast. I had my experience of growing teams, and sometimes after 12 people or 20 people, you start spending more than you thought of spending. So, and then you start chasing yourself, and we all know that architecture, whether you're a small firm or medium firm, it's a cyclical business. There is a peak, and then nobody's talking to you for a month. You say, "Oh, what I'm going to do with all my people? I'm going to pay them salaries," but there's no income. And then a month afterwards, "Oh, I don't have any people. I have so much work." And then the new customer calls, and you say, "Oh, I can't take the job," because there's a cyclicality in the profession. So you need to think about your business in periods of years. Similar to software development, try to charge not just per project, because your customer will pay you, "Oh, I just finished this milestone, pay me what for this milestone." It's not a good way to think about it. You want to have your customers paying you on a monthly basis. You want predictability. Kind of try to read more about software companies, how they charge, what is ARR, what is gross margin, what is NRR, all these kind of acronyms that software development companies knows, and this is how they grow and they get their predictability. And architects are still not there, specifically the small companies. So just expand your horizons on business efficiency, yeah, and adopt technologies for sure. This is if I haven't said it before, adopt the technology, play with it, try your best to understand and have patience, because if it's not working today, don't jump to the conclusion, hey, I'm going to leave it for a year. I'm not going to touch it because it doesn't work. I'll just wait. No, don't do that. Struggle with it. Understand what it can contribute today. Use it and always be on top of it, because in 6 months, you might see something new that can make wonder to your business. So just stay with technology and get updated all the time.
Yeah, it's always improving, always evolving, always getting better. So it may not do what you want it to do today, but literally tomorrow it might.
Yeah, literally.
His name is Eitan Tsarfati. The website is swap.ai. Go check it out. Go check out what SWAPP is doing. Go say hi to Eitan. Eitan, thank you. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. I love the conversations that we have. So thank you for the conversation today. Thank you for the work that you're doing, helping architects be more efficient, more effective, focusing on the things they really love to do. You can take care of the rest of it. Swap.ai. I appreciate you for coming by here today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Mark.
If you liked this episode of Entre Architect Podcast, please share a link to this episode with a friend. Either just click the share button or highlight the URL and send the link to this episode with a friend, because that's how Entre Architect has grown to serve thousands more architects just like you throughout the 10 plus years of Entre Architect. That's how we've grown, architect to architect. So I would love for you to share this episode and all the episodes with one friend every week. We'd love that. And thank you to our sponsors for this episode. We don't have an episode if there's no sponsors. So thank you to our sponsors. Links to those sponsors, which you should go visit and click, and all the resources that we discussed today for this specific episode, they are all available at entrearchitect.com/podcast. Every episode that we've recorded is there, entrearchitect.com/podcast. Go click the links to the sponsors and say hello. Entre Architect is a member of the Gable Media Podcast Network. You should go visit that at gablemedia.com. That is the next evolution of interactive media and resources for the AEC community. You can now earn continuing education credits for listening to select episodes of this podcast, Entre Architect Podcast. Yes, AIA CEUs for listening to a podcast. It's there, and many other podcasts are there as well, and you can listen to all of them and get credit. Learn more about our program, Gable Members Program, at the gablemedia.com/members website. That's GABL media.com/members. And if you are a small firm architect, join us today at Entre Architect Network. That is the worldwide organization for small firm entrepreneur architects. If you own your own architecture firm, you are an entrepreneur architect. You are an Entre Architect. With weekly live group business coaching, we have business coaching there, monthly live business training with AIA CEUs, 2 a month, so 24 AIA credits per year, including 12 of those are HSWs. We have them in the membership. Business resources, all the resources you need to run your business, special session webinars, mastermind groups, and a thriving community of small firm architects just like you. Hundreds of architects are there waiting for you to join. So we provide the support and encouragement you need to succeed as a small firm architect. I know that you haven't been trained as a business person when you launched your firm. That's what we do. Come learn how to run a business at Entre Architect Network. And today you can go join right now for free for 30 days at this link, entrearchitect.com/30 days will give you free 30 days for membership. Go check it out at entrearchitect.com/30 days, and I will see you there. Thank you for listening to this episode of Entre Architect Podcast. My name is Mark R. LePage, and I want you to remember 3 words: love, learn, share. Have a great day.
Imagine earning continuing education credits while doing exactly what you're doing right now. Well, you can. Gable Media has revolutionized the way you earn your continuing education credits with a groundbreaking approach. Forget running around town and scouring the internet for credit-worthy courses. Fulfill your CE requirements effortlessly by listening to engaging podcasts just like the one you're listening to now. Our podcasts are designed to educate, entertain, and inspire. all in a user-friendly environment. But wait, there's more. Architects, Gable Media is also approved as an AIA continuing education services provider. Upon completion, we handle everything, from reporting your hours directly to the AIA to storing your certificates in your personal Gable Media profile for your self-reporting needs. So follow the link in the show notes and start earning your credits in the most innovative and entertaining way possible with Gable Media.
Attention architects and creative minds, get ready to supercharge your brand with Build Your Brand, the podcast that's unlocking the secrets of branding success for creatives. Hey there, it's Mark Arlepage, founder of Entre Architect, and I'm inviting you to join my friend, architect marketing expert Jeff Eccles at Build Your Brand podcast, where he explores the captivating stories of the world's top brands and transforms their lessons into powerful moves for small firm architects and creatives like you. In Season 1, Jeff shares the thrilling tale of Southwest Airlines, where he dissects their journey to the summit and distills it into strategies tailor-made for you.
It's important to keep in mind that companies like Southwest compete in the real world, just like you, and face real-world challenges, just like you. You might be surprised at how similar those challenges are to the struggles that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis.
Don't miss out on your blueprint for success. Subscribe, tune in, and let's build your brand together.
You may have noticed that the very best brands in the world are also known for having somewhat unique corporate cultures. That's often the glue that holds everything together when they encounter those rough spots.
We don't do it because it inconveniences the passengers to whom we are primarily dedicated, the short haul, frequent flyer.
Follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Your Brand today. Remember, no matter the size, the journey's the same. Your brand's journey to the top starts here.